It has been a while since I have heard anything pertaining to the upcoming Ragnarok MMORPG, but finally, after waiting what seems like half a year or more, we have a ton of new information, and this is thanks to the WCCF Tech website. They go on to detail a lot about the game, like dungeons, like classes, raids, PvP, player housing, player progression. So if you're interested in learning more, this is, after all, an MMORPG from the developers of Revelation Online, which admittedly could have been a really good game. Then I urge you to take a minute here and sit through as much of this as you can, because we're gonna cover a lot. Now, first and foremost here, we are going to take a look at the trailer. I'm not sure how many of you even know what this game is, or how many of you have even seen this trailer, but this is a trailer that was released when the game was initially announced. So now I have seen this trailer. I saw it when I first did my first dedicated video on the game. And I mean, the trailer itself leads you to believe that it is an in-game trailer, like they're showcasing in-game gameplay, but I'm assuming here that this entire thing is pre-rendered because it looks pre-rendered. But I mean, you know, if this is what the actual gameplay looks like when you're playing the game, then my mind is going to be blown, because this looks incredible. But at the same time, I'm still very wary of trusting this as full gameplay, because it just seems a little too fluid for me, and a little too fast, a little too action heavy. The character models look really good. And for those of you that are interested, this trailer in specific was uploaded to MMO Culture's YouTube channel. So if you want to watch the full trailer on MMO Culture, then you know how to get there. Now, the interview in specific goes on to state, Chinese tech giant NetEase is mainly known to Western gamers as the mobile developer and publisher of Marvel's Super War and Rules of Survival, though most recently they partnered with several Western developers like CCP for Eve Echoes and Blizzard for Diablo Immortal, in addition to investments in companies like Bungie and Quantic Dream. Historically though, NetEase first found success in gaming with the PC MMORPG Fantasy Westward Journey and the sequel Westward Journey Online 2. After the less successful release of Revelation Online back in 2017, the company is now developing a new AAA MMORPG titled Project Ragnarok, and the project prefix at the beginning of the title, I believe, is now being removed, and the game is being titled just Ragnarok. This is inspired by Norse mythology. The game is expected to launch on PC, on consoles, and on mobile devices with cross-play functionality between all three platforms. This is very rarely done. We very rarely get an MMO that is cross-play compatible between every platform available. Now, they go on to ask, first of all, how many developers are working on Project Ragnarok? Also, with the news that you've built an international team to create this, does that mean that we can expect it to launch globally at the same time, including supporting staff from other departments? The entire development team consists of 60 plus members at the moment. The game will distribute globally. There we have it. There is a global confirmation for Ragnarok. Those of you that are wondering if we will ever get this game, there is a direct confirmation from the developers themselves that this is going to be coming out globally, but the release dates for different countries and regions may differ due to their respective policies and regulations. We're working hard to deliver high quality content to our global audience in a timely manner. Now, they then ask, do you consider the game to be a massively multiplayer online title, so an MMO? How many players will be able to play together at once? Also, are there systems like guilds and crafting and trading? Project Ragnarok is a sandbox strategy MMORPG. I don't really know what to make of the fact that they are labeling it as a strategy MMO. It allows players to explore the game world on their own terms, whether to enjoy hunting monsters, gathering resources, or socializing with other players. Players have the freedom to enjoy the world at their own pace. There will be basic MMO systems in place, providing features such as guilds and commerce to encourage social interaction among the players. As for server capacity, it depends on our stress testing results, but if you meant how many players can enjoy playing in a single battle, we're aiming to support 40 to 50 players at once. So it looks like, judging from that, they are going to have servers at max capacity being approximately 40 to 50 players. Now, I know that there are a lot of MMOs out there right now that struggle actually to have 40 to 50 players playing within a single area at any given time. And even some of the bigger MMOs don't allow for more than 100 people to be playing concurrently within the same area and the same channel. So 40 to 50 players seems okay to me, but I know some people are going to have the opinion that 40 to 50 players does not make this an MMO. So I guess whether or not 40 to 50 players in a single small little area being an MMO is completely subjective. They asked, will there be instance dungeons, raids as challenging content for larger groups of players? Yes, there will be instance dungeons, and they will certainly be challenging and fun too. Clearing them will require good teamwork, as they are designed with various mechanics that test a raid group's leadership and organization. So essentially, you guys definitely don't want me to come along with you, because I am very unorganized and I have no leadership capabilities whatsoever. Instead of tanking and spanking the boss, raid leaders must assign team members to work around the mechanics and prioritize rescuing others. Okay, well, there we go. I would love to say that I would be in charge of rescuing other players, but at the same time, I feel like I would be the one that needs to be rescued. So I guess you could assign MRSSTIX that duty if you'd prefer. They then stated, I've read that you intend to implement some roguelike elements into Project Ragnarok. Can you discuss that for a bit? Each of the levels in a single player dungeon is randomly generated. In addition to each level's main objective, there will also be random incidents to provide a unique experience. At the same time, players will receive one-time buffs and items to help them complete the task. Each playthrough will be an exclusive experience unique to each individual. So dungeons are going to be completely randomly generated, which means that there aren't really going to be any guides. That means every time you enter a dungeon will be completely original, theoretically anyway. They then state, are there going to be different classes to choose from? If so, can you talk about these and let us know if they will be gender locked or not? We don't have a traditional class system. Players will play as Valkyries, and besides the default male-female Valkyries, yes, we have male Valkyries, players can collect and play as Einherjar, spirits of warriors fallen in battle of different races and specialties. So no, the classes are not gender locked, and players are free to switch between multiple characters. So there you have it. They do not have a traditional class system in place, so no warrior, mage, healer, but they do in fact have various different races that have unique specialties, and those races and those specialties are not in any way gender locked, meaning you can play anything on anyone however you want. How will character progression work? Are there levels, skills, trees, etc.? Besides the traditional character leveling, skill upgrading, and gear looting, there will be a new system that allows players to collect artifacts to enhance their stats and skills. I am going to go out on a limb here and say that stuff like that is also going to be purchasable via the in-game cash shop, and that may potentially provide the opportunity for this to become a pay-to-win game, but don't quote me on that. I'm not saying that this is a guarantee. I have played enough games where I can safely say that that definitely seems like something that a Chinese developer could do. Do you plan to have some sort of player housing in Project Ragnarok? We do have plans for a housing system, but will probably be released at a later stage since it's not a priority. It's perfectly understandable. The game's name itself hints heavily at the Norse mythology inspiration. However, the released videos do not bear much resemblance to the traditional depictions that we're used to seeing in games like God of War, for example. How closely are you following Ragnarok lore? Is it more of a loose reinterpretation? There are some classic Norse mythology elements in the game. You'll see characters like Odin and Valkyrie and stories loosely based on Ragnarok, making it easier for players who understand the worldview and immerse themselves in the lore. However, the game will be a new interpretation slash reimagination of the Norse mythology rather than repeating the mythos. The tone of the game will also be filled with dark humor. That is one of my favorite types of humor. We want to emphasize that despite the game being inspired by Norse mythology, the game itself is a new interpretation. The avatars we play are merely mortals striving to ascend amongst the Norse pantheon instead of the traditional clashes between gods as depicted in games like God of War. So I feel like then this is kind of gonna be set like Skyforge? I don't know. This is kind of like the feel I get after reading that. Do you expect that players will be able to visit all of the 9 realms at launch, or will you add some of those locations post-launch? Players will have the opportunity to explore some of the realms. In the lore of Project Ragnarok, some realms are destroyed by wars, but players can visit the ruins through flashbacks. So evidently there is going to be a story that takes us back throughout various different locations, various different realms. That's promising. With Unreal Engine 5 due to debut later this year, are you considering whether to upgrade and use that instead of the existing Unreal Engine 4 technology? The game in its current state is well supported and relatively complete on Unreal Engine 4. Upgrading to Unreal Engine 5 at this stage could lead to delays and unforeseen issues. I completely understand that. We won't be upgrading to Unreal Engine 5 anytime soon to ensure that we can deliver this game on time. We've also read that Project Ragnarok is targeting a launch on consoles as well. Will that be on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S/X, or the old ones too, like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One? Mobile is our top Oh no. Oh, that is unfortunate to hear. Mobile is our top priority for now. We will first release a game on mobile while gaining experience for the development on other platforms, and eventually Project Ragnarok will support cross-platform play on mobile, then PC and consoles. Oh, why didn't they lead with that? I feel like this right here should have been the opening paragraph, that mobile is our top priority. Like, I get it, this is going to be a completely cross-platform MMORPG. It's going to support every major gaming platform out there, but mobile is their top priority. They're going to be pouring everything into the mobile version of the game, and then after the mobile version is complete, they are then going to port the game from mobile over onto the PC and over onto consoles, which means this game is being built as a mobile MMORPG with cross-play functionality on PC and PlayStation and Xbox as a secondary thought, as an afterthought, as something that is much less important for them to focus time and effort into. Will Project Ragnarok be free to play? If so, how are you planning to monetize it? Western players are always very wary of microtransactions, and we are, and we should be. It's free to play, but we also have in-app purchase options available, and you know, it's essentially a mobile game, so that stands to reason. Players can pay for fast leveling items, as well as daily, weekly packages and character cards. Character cards? Like, you can go ahead here and purchase characters, so essentially purchase the classes that you can pay. Holy, this just got really bad. This right here, these last few questions should have been all the way at the top, because for those of you that have made it this far, this is all sounding absolutely atrocious. I mean, granted, I'm gonna have to play this because A, it's an MMO and we're an MMO channel. B, it's also a mobile game and we have a mobile channel. But C, I genuinely wanted to because I was interested in playing this, but man, the microtransaction portion of the gameplay will be further optimized to ensure it doesn't influence the balance of the economy and make sure that every player will have fun and a wonderful experience. Sorry, that was an outburst that I should have held in. If I've learned anything from Elsa, it's conceal, don't feel, and I think don't let it show, or let it go out, whatever. Anyway, how far is the game from beta status? When should players expect to be able to try it? We will be launching a small-scale beta test later this year. So there we have it. I was reading through that and I was excited. They announced a lot of really cool things. They announced that it is going to be an MMORPG. They announced it is going to hold a bunch of different players. They announced that they are going to have a lot of dungeons, a lot of raids. They're going to have a unique class system that allows for you to go about choosing from a wide variety of different classes that you don't have to choose when creating your character. These are classes that are not going to be gender locked. It's going to have a story that takes you around various different realms. It's going to have player housing. It's based on Norse mythology, which I really enjoy. And then right at the very end, oh man, they're like, but we are focusing on mobile. That is our priority. I know that PC players, I know that console players want to play this, but we're planning on supporting mobile, and then after it does good or poorly, we're gonna eventually port it on over, and then you guys, which are essentially gonna function as second-class citizens, are going to be able to play through what is left of the game. And FYI, there are going to be very, very bad microtransactions in the game. So again, they should have led with this, because now I'm really turned off. So yeah, I'm no longer excited for this. I know I covered it once or twice in the past. I was excited, but that's because they didn't have this information readily available. Now, there goes another cross-platform MMO down the drain. I'm hoping for Tower of Fantasy to be something that I genuinely want out of the cross-platform genre. I hope that Odin Valhalla Rising turns out to be good, because this right here looks and sounds terrible. But I mean, that's just my opinion, my impressions based off of what I've read of it thus far. They might change where their priorities lie and make PC a priority in the future. I don't know. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think, if you guys are still excited for the game, and let's talk about it. Anyway, guys, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it. Yeah. All hard work's gonna be worth it. Ooh.